The fact that this has turned into a sort of apparent racialist defense by some members of Cincinnati government is totally insane, but indicative of where we are politically. We have updates on that horrifying video last week of a white man being pummeled by a group of black young men. And then a white woman steps in and she gets absolutely clocked in the face by a young black man. And this, of course, went viral online. And it raised the question that we briefly discussed on the show. If the races were reversed, wouldn't that have been a national story? The answer, of course, is 100%. It definitely would have. Well, now she's speaking out. Here she was. Her name is Holly, apparently. She is a single mom. And she's thanking people for their support. As you can see, I mean, her face is still deeply bruised. I mean, this is a person who got pretty hurt.
I just want to say thank you so much to everyone for all of the love and support. It is very humbling that you have sent your prayers, your blessings. It's definitely what's keeping me going. And you have just brought back faith and humanity. So God bless you all. Thank you. I appreciate everything that you're doing for me and my family. It's been very, very hard. And I'm still recovering. I still have a very bad brain trauma. And thank you, everyone.
Okay, so one of the alleged assailants, is 34, claimed he was called racial slurs and spat on then lead up to the beatdown. Well, of the woman, I mean, you can see that on tape. But, I mean, let's assume for the sake of argument that the N-word was used by the white guy or even by the woman who was punched in the face. So, when I say so, I don't mean they did something okay. It is not okay to use the N-word. But the punishment for using the N-word in the United States of America is not you get your ass kicked by an entire group of people. That is not how this typically works, while people stand around filming and dancing and cheering. Right? Words are not to be met with violence. This is one of the typical rules of a civilized society. The monopoly of violence is supposed to be held by the police or to be used in self-defense. Apparently, according to the police, one of the women who was involved in this conflagration interjected herself into a brawl on the street. Family members, according to the New York Post, of the alleged assailants have since attempted to make the street rampage into a racial issue, claiming the only reason it drew so much attention and outrage was because of the skin color of those involved. Okay, yes. I mean, that's obviously true in the sense that if this were a bunch of black people beating up a black person, it wouldn't receive a lot of attention. But the point is, until social media, a bunch of black people beating up a white person would not have received a lot of attention and still has not nationally. We'll get to more on this in just a moment. First, picture this. You walk over to your computer, you pull up your entire browsing history, you hit print, and then you nail those pages to your front door for everybody to see. Well, that would be totally crazy of you, but that's pretty much what's happening every single day, unless you protect yourself with ExpressVPN. Here's the thing most people don't realize. Your ISP, your internet provider, can see every single website you've ever visited, even when you're browsing in incognito mode. In many countries, they're actually required to keep detailed logs of your online activity for years, just in case the government wants to take a look. And if you're in the US, it gets even worse, because ISPs can literally sell your personal browsing data to whomever it is they want. Now, you can't stop your ISP from trying to collect this information, but you can make sure they never get it in the first place. That's where ExpressVPN comes in. It encrypts all your online activity before it even reaches your internet provider, turning their logs into complete and utter gibberish. When you use ExpressVPN, I'm just telling you, it gives you peace of mind. It gives me peace of mind. I'm traveling. I'm using public Wi-Fi. I don't have to worry about it. Got ExpressVPN. Plus, it's so simple to use. One tap on any device, phone, laptop, tablet, whatever. You know your privacy is now completely locked down. Find out how you can get 4 months for free by scanning the QR code on screen, clicking that link in the description box below, or by heading on over to expressvpn.com/Ben Shapiro Show. Right, the real question here is about the legacy media coverage, because the question is not if a bunch of white people beat up a white person would it make news. The answer is no. If a bunch of black people beat up a black person, is it news? The answer is no. If a bunch of white people beat up a black person, is it news? Yes, for months on end in the legacy media. And if a bunch of black people beat up a white person, it makes news on X, but pretty much nowhere else. I have yet to see an enormous amount of media coverage of this particular incident from, say, the New York Times. I'm waiting to see it. It's a mystery. I don't know where it went. Meanwhile, Ken Kober, the president of the Cincinnati Fraternal Order of Police, spoke to the Daily Wire about this. And he slammed elected city leaders over allegations many have made against the victims of the mob attack on July 26. He said, quote, I speak to our investigators probably every 12 hours. There's been absolutely zero evidence so far that suggests these victims caused this. I mean, they've looked at video evidence, they've done interviews. Nothing suggests these victims were the ones that started this mob attack. After videos of the mob attack began circulating online, Cincinnati City Council President Pro Tem Victoria Parks wrote a Facebook comment saying the victims, quote, begged for that beatdown. I am grateful for the whole story, which is insane. Vice Mayor Jan Michelle Kearney said, quote, let us be clear. We do not condone violence. We condemn the violent actions of the instigators of the fight, as well as the violent actions of those who responded to the provocation. Opportunists are trying to use this incident as a way to divide us racially and politically and cast our great city in a false and negative light. Kober said, quote, I think a lot of it is pandering to their constituents. They do it in the face of what the investigation says. These investigators have met with city officials, explained to them, here's the evidence we have, and they just snubbed their nose at that. Quite honestly, it's pretty disgusting. Now, apparently, the city's police force, according to Daily Wire, has operated understaffed by roughly 20%. Republican Senator Bernie Moreno of Ohio ripped into Cincinnati Mayor Aftab Puraval last week after the mayor's response to the attack. He said, nice words don't mean anything unless you have actual actions in order to improve policing in Cincinnati. So, again, the fact that this has turned into a sort of apparent racialist defense by some members of Cincinnati government is totally insane, but indicative of where we are politically. Well, that's all for now, folks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts down below. Be sure to check out all of the other great content on my channel. I'll see you here next time.